Hello everyone, welcome back to IT Security Labs, and thank you very much for joining our weekly live stream today. And if you are brand new on this channel, we actually attack machines and detect the traffic in Security Onion. Right here on my screen you can see our Security Onion intrusion detection system, and as you can see we have some traffic that I was practicing with earlier, and we did detect an attack that was happening. Our main goal here is to show you how we can attack a machine, and today's machine is going to be the CMS machine from Vulncms. It's called Vulncms. This is the latest machine from Vulncms that we have here. So thank you very much for joining us tonight, and we do these live streams every Sunday at 9 p.m. But before I attack this machine, I just wanted to give a lot of credit to the author, Tombstone Ghost, or Sandeep Singh. I mean, this is a really wonderful machine. There's a lot of thought that was put in this machine, so definitely a lot of kudos to them. These machines are free. If you want, you can download this machine, upload it in VirtualBox, and attack it. So that's what I do. I download it from vulncms.com, put it in my VirtualBox, then I intercept the traffic, and when I do the attack, I go and look at my attack traffic to see if my intrusion detection system was able to see. And we try to understand why we were able to see things and why we were unable to see things. Madix, thanks. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining, man. All right, so if you want to set up this lab, I have 12 videos on this channel that will show you how to set it up. But the idea is we have a Security Onion intrusion detection system that comes with this interface here, where you can see a bunch of alerts that fire. So if you attack a machine, it will tell you what was happening, what traffic it saw, and there's a count. Then you can drill down into those alerts so you can see what happened. In this case, I can see through this network data that there was an attacker that was able to get in. They were in here and they ran all these commands here. So that's what we'll be analyzing. I will try to explain how we got to this part by the time we're done with this live stream. So that's why I'm very excited. I also installed my Security Onion to add the Hive. This is what a security analyst will end up interacting with. So you end up putting some notes here before you close the case. So I will actually escalate some events just in case I don't finish them. So we'll be putting some events in the Hive, which is something that comes with Security Onion intrusion detection system. And then we'll also look at some logs in Kibana, which is my favorite interface. So this is one of the best, if not the most exciting labs that you see on YouTube talking about cybersecurity for absolute beginners, because I will show you and talk to you as an absolute beginner myself as well. All right, so enough of these introductions. Let's get started with the attack already, right? Because that's what you guys are here to see. Well, first, download the machine from Vulncms, upload it in your VirtualBox. This one works in VirtualBox. I don't know about other platforms. Then once you download it and it's working, also set up your Security Onion per my instructions in videos if you haven't done so. Mo says Security Onion is impossible to download. Actually, it's very simple. If you have any issues, let me know. I will definitely help you. It's one of the easiest installs. I just installed another one yesterday, the one that I'm using today. All right, so I have my data coming to Security Onion. I was able to see that the attack actually works, and this is the traffic that I have. I'm attacking from my Kali Linux here. It looks like a Windows machine, but it's actually Kali. I like it, the undercover mode. So we'll be attacking from my Kali here. Yours may look different, but that's fine. First, let's do a ping. Check our machine. Our victim is the victim up and running. My victim, I wrote some notes for myself that it's on 192.168.30.73 from DHCP. So let's see if it's online. 38.73. All right, so our victim is responding. The first thing that we want to do as an attacker is just find out what's running on the victim. There's a tool called nmap, and we can use a switch -sv to find the service version -sc, SC, then 1 and 2 was 68, 38, 73, I think. But I want all ports here, so let me just put the switch. So if there's a bunch of TCP ports running, this will show me. This will not show me UDP ports, but obviously running Nmap against any target is going to be picked up by an intrusion detection system. If you've been here for a while, you definitely know that Security Onion intrusion detection system will definitely pick this one up and say someone is scanning the network. They're trying to find out what's going on. So let's give this a moment to run. And while it's running here, let's go back to Security Onion intrusion detection system and check it out. See if it's actually picking this up right now as we speak. So what I like to do is go to the alerts. So this is my new install, and we should have a lot of alerts here from Security Onion. This is all from, well, this says from last 24 hours, but as you can see here, Nmap scripting engine user agent detected 245. If I keep refreshing this number should be going up because we are actually actively scanning right now. Let's see if it goes up, or maybe Nmap is already done. But if you're in a live environment, that number will keep going up because there is an active attack right now. I see we have 245 twice. All right, so our Nmap should be done. Yes, so my number wasn't going up because Nmap is done. So what are we looking at here? Nmap was trying to find services that are running, giving me versions, running default scripts. We found port 22, which is SSH. We'll skip this one for now. We also found port 80, which is running an Nginx server. So a lot of people like to put servers behind Nginx, and this is what you see. And here is a header. We have port 5000, which is running WordPress, and we have a version. We'll check that one out right now. Then we have 8081, which is running Joomla. Remember, the name of the machine is my CMS. So CMS systems, it looks like this person just put WordPress, Joomla, and they also put Drupal. So we have to check all these CMS solutions here manually. We also have HTTP title of fsociety.web. So what I like to do when I see this is you need to go to your Etsy host and edit. I'll show you why would we do that, because sometimes websites only respond to DNS names. You see that I do it a lot on Hack the Box, Try Hack Me. Some of these machines you might have seen in Vulncms. So this is our entry. You need to enter the IP address and the entry that you see, a DNS name for the machine. BT and Matthew, it's good to see you guys. Thanks for joining as always. I really appreciate to see you guys every week. So right now we're just adding fsociety.web to our Etsy host so we can actually access this by the domain name. So once we save that, we open a browser, go to HTTP, fsociety.web. What is running there? As an attacker, our goal is to find out how do we get in, how do we break in any way possible. This time this says, welcome to the blog of unknown. Is unknown a person? Maybe. But quickly looking at this, you will notice that this blog doesn't give us much. It's powered by this, which is not a commonly exploited platform, W3. If you wanted to see more, you can click and view the page source. I used to know a keyboard shortcut, now I don't. But we can view the page source here. This time I think it's going to view a selection, which is fine. This one is not going to give you much, but we had multiple ports open, so this is going to be more enumeration than before. William, thanks man. Thanks for joining. Since we don't have anything on this, we can come back and poke around. Usually we're looking for the user that wrote the entries, to have a username at least, a login page, anything. We can run go bust against this, which maybe let's just do that since it's not giving us anything. Maybe derb. I consider derb to be the lazy version of go buster. So what we're doing here is we're brute forcing some directories. We want to see what other directories are on the website, and in this case we see index.html. While this is brute forcing, we can continue to enumerate other services that we found. So we also saw that we have port 5000, which is a WordPress. We know how to enumerate WordPress using WP scan. So let's check port 5000. Hello world. So this doesn't have much either for us, but we have a WordPress, a version number for WordPress. We also have a WP scan. So this is what I like to do. When I see a WordPress site, I'll share some resources with you here so you can also work. So I look at WP scan. There's this really hacking articles document that I found that is really good for anyone who sees a WordPress site out there. This is pretty much everything that you need. So you can use the help to see how to scan for things. Today I'm going to do a very quick easy one. You can just do this one to search for the actually let's use the generic one. I'm not going to use my API because I don't want to share my API key with you guys. I don't want to keep resetting my API key, but I'll just share with you. This hacking article here will show you everything you need about testing WordPress sites for vulnerabilities, and it's in detail, including enumerating usernames. Let's see if we can enumerate all in a single command. That's what I want. I don't have an API, so it won't enumerate all, but that should do it. All right, first, GoBuster ran, didn't find anything except for the robots.txt. Robots.txt, for this time, it doesn't actually have anything. So let's move to port 5000 here, where WordPress resides. So we know that our WordPress is on port 5000. Our IP address is 3873. Let's enumerate. So what we're looking for is if you have an API key, vulnerable plugins, any usernames that may pop up. I think this needs to be fixed. Dash. And let's see if it finds anything. And as we do this attack, like I said earlier, we will see a lot of traffic here being generated in our intrusion detection system, because at the end of the day, we're in this business of attacking in order to learn how to defend, because we're the good guys. Well, first of all, if I do a refresh here in my security onion, we should see a spike in our traffic. We should see also the number of events increasing. So let's see if that actually happens. Then I'll show you the Go Buster that just ran. All right, first of all, look right here. This spike here is showing us that our server is under attack. I mean, we went from barely having 5 events, and now we are almost at 268. So as the good guy, as the defender, you should be looking at your thresholds. Okay, I usually average 3 events a minute. All of a sudden I'm getting 300. What's happening? Am I under attack? So this is an indicator of compromise right away that should trigger your interest. All right, then let's go to, so here is the events. If we look right away, we see that we have a web application attack 497, because we're attacking web applications here. That's why we have so many web app attacks. We can look at those and see what's really happening as well. If you prefer this interface here, you'll see the same exact alerts being triggered with the count going up. But let's just change this to the last 2 hours. We don't want to last 24 hours for no reason. All right. potential scan. This is all us scanning, creating a lot of suspicious traffic here, as you can see. But if we look at the web application attack here from Kibana, the source is going to be our Kali Linux machine. The destination, remember, our IP address of our victim, 192.168.30.73. That's exactly what's happening here. I like to look at what's happening. Remember, we just started attacking port 5000, and here it is. Let's check to see if this is WordPress. So you can expand this, and it looks like this was Nmap earlier that was scanning. So the goal here is for you to get familiar looking at network traffic. If you want to end up being a cybersecurity professional, or if you already work in the industry, being comfortable looking at this data and not being intimidated is going to be really, really critical. It looks like a lot of gibberish, a lot of text right now, but really what this is just network traffic. And the more comfortable you get looking at this and being able to get to data quickly is going to really help. So that was Nmap. How did I know? Right away, I think it did say it in the possible Nmap user agent. So I know someone was scanning the network, and that's when I was scanning the network. Right, so going back here, a WordPress scan didn't start. It was asking if I wanted to update. So let's just scan with WP scan. Save. Thanks, man. Thanks for joining. Can Security Onion work as an IPS? I've never set Security Onion in IPS mode. Intrusion prevention, no, it's usually, most people will deploy it as an intrusion detection. I don't know if there's an IPS mode during the installation. I would have to check that. All right, so it's complaining that I don't have an API key, but it did find WordPress_admin user here. So I know in the back of my mind that there is a WordPress_admin user. I'll document this as an attacker for potentially trying to brute force this user if I ever have any usernames and password. But after running this again with my API key, there is no vulnerable plugins. So we need to move on. WordPress is not the way to get foothold on this machine. And then that was port 5000. Port 8081, which is running Nginx on Joom, and it's a Joomla. Joomla is also really, really cool. So for Joomla, there's a tool that I've used on this channel called JoomScan, just like how for Drupal we also have DrupScan, WP Scan. These all CMS solutions, these public tools you can use to test them. So for Joomla, let's see here, does it show me it's anything interesting? I can tell that there is a /administrator page, which I like. But let's see if we can run a JoomScan here. I think I have JoomScan. I'm just finding a JoomScan location on my computer because I think at some point I've done an attack for Joomla. So I have a root JoomScan. So in here, there we go. So I have a Perl script. You can find Python scripts. You can find multiple ways to run this. So to run this, I just say Perl JoomScan PL, and let's see what it wants. All right, so it tells, hey, you didn't do it right. Of course, it wanted, here's the proper usage. Perl -u, then the URL. So that's what we need to do. Then we need the URL for our target. And Joomla is running on port 8081, I believe. Let's see if we can visit that site. So this person is multiple CMS solutions, and here is the Joomla site. This one actually, we should look at it as an attacker. We already see Elliot at Steel Mountain. So Elliot, is that a user? When I see a website, I'm always looking, do they have a user who wrote, like an admin kind of user? I see some maybe Latin, so they used default. This machine is inspired by Mr. Robot, the TV show, the hacking TV show. So you can see that eCorp here, they have Mr. Anderson, they have Elliot. So I can tell that this creator was inspired by Mr. Robot. So there is a username and password though for a user. You can try to look up default Joomla usernames and password, but I'm going to look for vulnerabilities in Joomla using JoomScan. Again, this should get caught by a decent intrusion detection system. And here is how I found out how to do things. If I add multiple targets, this is what I'll do. Let's see if this works. I needed to specify minus hue. There we go. So JoomScan, the tool, is right away showing me a ton of information here. You need to be documenting this. It says that we found the administrator page. We also found a few vulnerabilities here. What I like when I see vulnerabilities, I'm looking for SQL injection. These ones I like because I can use SQL map. In fact, this machine, you can go with this vulnerability with SQL map and attack it. I don't want to do SQL map because for the OSCP, you cannot use SQL map, but know that this one works. There is another remote code execution as well. Some of them are just useless. Then some are really useful. Especially if it says remote PHP mailer remote code execution vulnerability, you need to check to make sure that PHP mailer is enabled, and you can do that. So this one you need to verify as well. The creator had given us this as a way in, and like I said earlier, SQL map, not so exciting. I tried to do a manual SQL injection. This one is really difficult. SQL map works. So this is how you enumerate Joomla, and it will actually work for you. What I want us to do is let's move on to the second one, which is the Drupal, because that's another way in as well. So let's go to, oh, it looks like I got rid of my nmap results. Okay, so there's another site that is running, which is Drupal, which is very interesting because a lot of people don't actually just put their sites nested like this. That's way too many sites for just one system. So let's see. Drupal was on 9001. That's the one I want to use to get in. All right. Again, we see here right away it's Mr. Anderson, eCorp, same exact text. So I know this user is just reusing it. Here is the username and password. Drupal is actually interesting as well. Let's see if we can find out how to attack a Drupal site, which we can find here. Let me show you. I'm just looking for hacking articles that I like. I need to add it to my notes, DrupScan. All right, so this is what you do. You just go to the internet and try to figure out how do we attack a Drupal site. And I have a link that I'm finding here. This is just the internet. As an attacker, you need to be able to quickly find things. They're saying, hey, scan it, find out what's going on with it. In this case, it looks like they got a version, and then they're saying, it says go there, but they ran a tool here. Oh, that's derb. Actually, let's do that. Let's pass some directory on our Drupal site. Let's do derb and this URL here. Let's see what's running on it, by the way. What I'm trying to show you here is that there's a changelog.txt that's usually exposed by this site. So we should be able to see it right away, and we should be able to go and check it out. Let me see if I can just go to it. This should show me the version of the site. If it has been moved, Nginx will complain. And then my derb should show me. Or the easiest way to do this is you just run drop scan. And drop scan will just look for that changelog.txt for you, automated in an automated fashion, and then show you the version. That's what pretty much the drop scan does for us. So maybe let's check for that. I like to see from GitHub, so I search for tools from GitHub most of the time. Let's find out. And GoBus is still going here. We'll see the changelog pop up here. Then we'll know its exact location. But while it's doing that, why not just go to search for it? Oh, this is taking forever. Drop scan. And here's one. Let's check this one. I think I'm doing way too many things from this one machine, like this brute force here, and I'm trying to download something from here, and it's slowing the machine, which is fine because this is just a virtual machine that I'm using right now. So because of that, let me also look for it from a different machine. Then I'll show you. By the time we use it the first time, you should then be able to edit your cheat sheet like I'm going to do here. So what this tells me is I'm going to get this tool and use it. Let's see. Let me stop this so that it doesn't waste our time. I created a machine. Oh, Vulncms. So here's some of the machines that I've done on this channel, most likely. Jeez, I cannot type. All this work just to get in a folder. Okay, so let's do a git clone on our tool here. Then we just use it. That way you get to see me get a tool from the internet and then use it. So once we get in Drupal scan, set up the pie, Drupal scan. So looks like I have the tool. Let's see. What does their documentation say? I can look for help. Okay, looks like I need to set it up, which is fine. Let's see. Let's see what they say. There's a Python script to set it up. We can read the script, or we can just Oh, so this actually also looks for these are the CMS tools as well. That's interesting. Wait a second. All right. Let's see if this will just work out of the box. Help. This comes with the territory. Yeah, it's running Python 2.7. Or maybe is it? HTTP. So usually when you pick it, sometimes you have to set it up, which is what I'm trying to figure out what the creator said. And most people, we have the instructions only, hey, here's how you set it up. So people don't spend too much time figuring out what's wrong with why it's not running. So this is what it should be. But since Drupal scan is not found, if it keeps going, then we just find the change log. Then next time I'll just set up my Drupal, my Drupal. I should be able to. I shouldn't have stopped my dear buster here. Then we'll probably have seen it by now. It's not a live attack when troubleshooting doesn't happen. All right, I'm going to give up on this too. Let's find another one. Let me see an easier one that doesn't need setup, because there's multiple ones. There we go. It using pip, which is faster. Okay, so that's what it is. These are the documentation. Pip install requirements to text. Okay, looks like we're in business. I don't need an attribution link, but that's good stuff. So if you're wondering, like WP Scan and all those other tools, if they are missing on your Kali Linux, this is how you go about it. You go to the internet, figure out quickly. The idea is you want to get the tool that does the job. You don't want to become an expert in the tool. You just need to know, what does the tool do? How do I get the tool? And once you know, it's a means to an end, really. I know that this tool all it's going to do is find the version and tell me how to attack the system. But that's part of the work. You need to, as an attacker, go out there and find these tools on your own. And in this case, we did that. So next time I'm attacking another Drupal instance, I probably won't need to install it again. But in this case, we do. All right. Let me see if it's now here. There we go. So I'm assuming I probably have all the requirements. Your installation will probably complain about some Python requirements missing, and that's okay. So right now we are scanning our site for with modules and stuff. And if we go back to our security onion, we should still see more traffic coming in. Let me refresh this. Depending on what we did here, here's the Joomla. Oh, that is interesting. Let's go after that one. This is when we were looking at Joomla earlier. So this is a Joom scan, I think. Yeah, this looks like when we did a scan with, wow, this is a disclosure from the content.php on the Joomla site. When we were looking at the Joomla site, okay. That's good. Ken Beck. What's going on, man? All right, so we did struggle a little bit to get DrupScan working, but I hope you also learned how to install DrupScan on your machines. It'll be cheating if I didn't show you these things in real time. So DrupScan, and this is the full URL, minus T is probably specifying threads, and it's 32 in this case. Here's the profile, themes. All we were going for is the version, which, wait a second, I was looking for this file earlier. It's all caps. I was just being not so smart, and I just forgot that it's changelog.txt, and I typed it changelog all lowercase. Now you know, and now I also know. This changelog.txt will also tell us the version is 7.54, and that's all I was trying to do earlier. Here. And this really helps us because armed with that version, we can go to our good friend SearchExploit and see if we have any vulnerabilities, right? Because possible versions, that's what it read. We also found some themes, 7. You can go and look at these themes if maybe some of these themes are known to have vulnerabilities. We have a profile. DrupScan didn't give us much except for this version. So we're going to go with that. Go to town. You can search the internet. Drupal that. Or you can use SearchExploit. I like SearchExploit better, but this is easier for most people. So here's a remote code execution. I mean, we have a lot. Let me go to Git. The reason why I like Git is because if a GitHub project has problems, a lot of people start complaining. I can see it in the issues. Or if it doesn't work anymore, people also comment. So here, as you can see, I have GitHub locations. Let's use this one. I'm pretty sure all of them work. So it tells me it's for Drupal, all these versions, including 7.x. So we are included here. What is the usage? This one is a Ruby script. I don't like that. I like Python better. Not that I cannot edit. If I have to interact with this exploit, I'd rather have it in Python. So this one is what I'm going to go with. Personal preference, you need to kind of know your way. And then I'll probably copy. Let me know in the comments if you guys do the same thing as me. When I'm looking for exploits, I'm looking at the language that they're written in. Python and Perl, I like them a lot. Ruby and any other languages, I'm avoiding them at all costs unless if I really have to. This one, I have two options here, 7600 and that. So what we can do is we can just come here. ls and git clone. It looks like I already, that's the same exact one that I did here. Yeah, so clone that repo. Once you clone that repo, you can cd into CVE. You notice that I have two scripts. You can spend some time on the GitHub page to see why they have two. I see that they have this. It's a name. Just what I do. Now I have my exploit.py. I just like to copy because I like an easier name. If I have to copy this thing to my victim machine or anything, that makes things easier. So this is what I'm going to be using, the exploit.py. I encourage you to read the exploits as much as you can. So in this case, let's go back. Where is our exploit? Python is way easier to read, in my opinion, than others. Knowing what this is doing, this is only like 57 pages, so it's not that much. We are using request, argparse, and basics4. No, we're using a beautiful soup. Let's see. At the end of the day, I'm curious, what commands are we running? All right, so by default, this one will run the id command. All right, let's see what happens when you run that script. Python. I'll try to, usually what I do is I try to run it without any arguments. Really good, decent programmers will tell you, hey, you need to run it this way. You need to specify -h, then for the target, then the command if you want. So let's do that. $38.73. I should have used the fully qualified domain name. Put on 9001 and a C. The command needs to be in quotes. Who am I? So if this works, this should run who am I or my victim. HTTP. What could have? What could be wrong? Do I have the wrong port? Probably. It's 9001. All right, let's see why it's not running. Default is ID. All right, let me remove my -c for now. Oh wait, why am I putting -h? That's not for host. Maybe it's just point and shoot. Yeah, it's point and shoot. I don't know why I was putting -h there. All right, so default is where am I? And as you can see, the exploit works because it's giving me that it's going to be www data. And this is where I think I get really excited. Because now that I know that I have a working exploit, it also said I can use -c and put commands here. Let's ask it if it's running. No, we said where my should also give us wdata or ID. So whatever command I want to run on the victim, I put it here, www data. Let's ask it a question. What version of Python is it running? So I'm trying to see if I can run a simple Python reverse shell here. If it's running Python 3, I might have to move on. No Python. Oh, I see. Let's ask. So that means that it's running Python 3. You know why? Because I think it didn't give me Python. So if I say which Python 3, it should give me a path to Python 3. All right, cool. It's running Python 3, not a problem. I want to get a reverse shell on my machine, and this is where we get initial foothold. And I mean, this is where the fun begins. All this work, well, up to here, we want to get in. Since we're using Python, we cannot use the simple Python reverse shell that I always use here. So we need to get creative. We need to run a command here that will give us a reverse shell. So what I'm going to do from now on is I'm going to have that there. Let me split it horizontally. Okay, let's make sure. Let me do a netcat minus LVNP. Let's just use their port 4242. So I'm going to listen on port 4242, and I need to start a reverse shell here on port 4242. How do we start a reverse shell? You can go to payload all things. They have that. I think let's just do that. I'm also showing you my notes so that you know how to go to places. I have multiple places you can go. This is the one that I like. It's a Git. Payload all things. Since Python doesn't work, let's use bash, regular bash. On the victim machine, we need to run bash -i and port 4242. And you're going to learn something really cool right now. So if you're thinking of leaving, just stick around for a second, because this is where I think, oh, that's nasty. Okay, let's make our commands somewhere else. Just add a new page here. Clean place to write things. This is our command. We need to just construct a nice working command here for ourselves. Sometimes you need to go to a drawing board, as I like to call this. This is the command that we would like to run in here. All right, it's running bash -i that, but this is not our IP address for Kali. Our Kali is 192.168.38.63. All right, now we have a nice command. Let's go back and run it. All right, that looks right. But notice what happens. Nothing happens down here. And an attacker here will be thinking, crap, so it doesn't allow me to run bash. And from experience, from attacking more than 50 of these machines, I've seen this happen over and over again. And lucky for you, you get to learn it from me if you haven't done this before. It doesn't mean that this command doesn't work. It just means that we might have to try a couple things to make it work. If we were running this on a URL, we might try to URL encode it. Since we're running it directly in the terminal, why don't we just use base64? Can I actually do this? Let's see. Do we have base64 on the victim? I don't know if I can do this. Yes, we do. So what I can do is I can base64 encode my exploit on my Kali, then decode it on the victim. Maybe it will run the command faster. So here's what we do. this is the command that I want to run. So instead of running this directly, I'll run it as a base64 encoded command. So I'll go to 192.168.38.63. Let's copy that. Stop our listener for a second. Verify that we actually have in the correct IP, 63. So we're good. Bring back our listener. Let's go ahead and base64 encode that. You can base64 encode it in your terminal, but I like to try new things. I've done that on this command. Well, our security onion comes with our good friend CyberChef. CyberChef is really cool to use, so we might as well start using it here. We can bake things here. So here's our input that we want to base64 encode. This is the input. Let's bake it with using CyberChef, because sometimes that's the way to go. We want to convert it to base64, and here's our base64 output. Right, so now we know that we have this base64 output from CyberChef. Let's go back and edit our command for a second here from our drawing board. So instead of running this command here, we're just going to run the encoded. All right, so the command is, this is going to be just like, hey, on this machine, run this right here, but this is not going to actually run correctly. So we need to say echo the command. Then we need to pipe this to base64 minus D, because we want it to be decoded as it executes there. Then we need to pipe it to bash. This to me is really good. Yeah, Ken Beck has the command to actually encode it as well if you didn't want to use CyberChef. But this is the part where if you wanted to execute on the victim, you need to maintain this single quote here. Then we need to echo this part that is encoded, but we are decoding it. Then we are piping it all to bash. This will now execute. And that's, if you're going to take anything from tonight, I think this is one of the most exciting parts of the whole live stream, is being able to know that if you can't run it directly from any exploits, try a few things, especially if you need to URL encode, you need to intercept traffic using tools and stuff like that. Right, so now that we modified our command, let's see if it will run. And if we get a reverse shell. Okay, we have spent so much time, so we're going to speed things up a little bit here after getting initial foothold. But here's the final command. We're echoing the encoded data, then we're decoding it so it actually executes, then we're piping it to bash so we can actually see things. And let's see if it works. All right, it didn't work. Didn't like my echo command. Let's see. We need to go back to the drawing board. Oh, what is this? I don't know where that came from. Let's try it again. Interesting. Something in there is not right. Oh, someone says -C. As we were messing with our command, we forgot -C. Yes. I think this is why you need to know like what you are doing compared to just be like pulling scripts from the internet. Because when things start not working, you will not know what's going on and you'll be frustrated. All right, so it worked. I was forgetting -C. Thanks, BT. I was like in the zone of editing. I'll probably have figured it out after a second here. All right, so we did get a reverse show SWW data, which is really good. So let's use that for now. So it looks like we are in the Drupal site, and we can see all the. All right, let me just pause for a second here. Alright guys, let me know in the chat if it came back. I think something happened with the stream and it just dropped. Awesome. It probably came back with a different name, which is fine. All right. So here, let's check the web.config. See if we have any interesting things here. Nothing. Let's go to the HTML location. All right, welcome back, guys. Technology, I don't know what happened there. This is what I usually do when I go to the HTML. My good friend WordPress is my favorite because I know where things are. And what I'm going to look for here is any passwords, because people put passwords in plain text in WordPress configs. wp_config should be here. Let's go config. Do I have that? Wait. wp dash. Then I would like to cat for okay, we cannot do that. Let's see if we have any interesting. Here is some keys. Here is what we are after. We got a password, but we don't know whose password this is. So what I would do is I would save this password somewhere. Maybe I'll find a user somewhere, then I can brute force. But we did find a password here. Do this for all CMSs that are there, Drupal and everything. You'll probably find passwords laying around like this. But I just wanted to show you that process, that you can do that and people leave passwords. Another way to do this is if you run lean p's here, you'll notice that in cd/opt, the creator left us a cred just laying around. But either way, you should have found this password in one of the configuration files anyway. But in this case, since we're here, let's look at 8081.cred. So here is a password. Username is Joom CMS, and here's a password. Through enumeration, you will find this. Your job is to go through every directory, find out what's running there. So in this case, I found this username and password in the opt directory, and here's the Joom CMS admin, and this is on port 8081. So let's go there. Let's sign in. Let's go to the administrator page, because when we ran our WP scan earlier, we saw that there's an administrator page running there. So There we go. Let's move away from www data. So far, www data has served us very well. We can see things, but we need more. Because our goal is to be root here before this thing is done. All right. You can try the same credentials for SSH. Because a lot of people reuse their credentials, so try everywhere. You find credentials, try to SSH, but so far we don't know a user. We know that there is Elliot, but once you sign in here, as an attacker, I'm only interested in the user section, especially existing users. Do they have credentials in there? Who are they? Super user is us. Now we have a valid user, Elliot. By just signing in here, we now know. But something interesting, through all those configuration files, you notice that this string was also used as a password. I don't remember, but one of the CMSs also had this string used as a password. I don't have time to show you, but I think it was it Joomla as well? So this is a password that we can try for Elliot. Speaking of, now that we know that Elliot is a user, why don't we SSH as Elliot on our machine? 3873. Using that string as password. Nothing told us that it's a password, but we, as an attacker, we should be able to try things out. So let's try it again. The easiest way would have been to grab all the passwords you found and spray this SSH service. I'm probably typing Elliot incorrectly. Let me make sure that my copy paste is copying it correctly here. I think I have a space. And it's Elliot and that IP. That's correct. All right, so it looks like it works. So the idea here is there's this thing that people do. It's called credential reuse. People use the same password everywhere. It looks like Elliot here reused the same password for the CMS and as his SSH password. So once we are in as Elliot, since we have a password, I like to do sudo -l, see if Elliot is any sudo. That's an easy win. Unfortunately, we're out of luck. Oh, and we are also locked out. So this, what you're looking at is another thing. rbash. If you have never seen this, this will give you a little headache. But remember earlier I found out that this thing is running Python 3. We can escape this by rerunning Python 3. There's multiple ways you can actually escape this. Just go to Google and say how to escape rbash. You see multiple ways. You can use Vim and other things. If Python is running, Python is my way to escape it. Because right now we cannot cd, we cannot run a bunch of other commands. So since it's running Python 3, I just like to use this Python simple HTTP. And now I should be able to escape. That's another nugget from today that you probably took. Yeah, this restricted bash will give you a lot of headaches if you've never seen it. First time I saw it, I was frustrated. But just go to the internet, rbash, how to escape it. Vim, there's like 7 different ways you can escape it. Python is the easiest one. Okay, now let's go home. I like to go home. Now I can see, oh, I have a user Terrell, I have a user Go, run linps on this thing, so I can get it out of the way. So to run linps, let's open a new terminal here. I don't think I run linps that often, mostly because I don't like to automate the enumeration process. I like to enumerate manually, but this time I will, because that's the only way I was able to find this. So in here, I have my linps.sh 3 -m http.server 180. I need to move this. Since I have SSH creds, I can technically use the file in an easier way, but hey, why not use the easy tried and tested method? So I'm hosting an HTTP server here so I can move this file. Let's go to the temp. Uh, 3863. There we go. There's my linps.sh. Let's run it. Here's a nice smiley face for linps. Really? Oh, darn it. It's not smart to just run it. It's not smart to just run it without saving it to file. So linps is going to do the work for me. It's going to run and test everything on the system. If there's any interesting vulnerabilities, it will list them in my privs.txt. The reason why I'm sending them to a text is because there's a lot of information here. And while linps is running, I don't know how long it's going to take. Why don't we go and look at our results quickly here. Let's do a little bit of autopsy, because once linps finds the user, we'll be able to escalate and quickly find things that are going. First, let's change. I'm going to use Kibana for now. Let's put it to last 1 hour. This is us now going for the damages. What did we do? How much noise did we generate in our system in the last hour that we've been hanging out? All right. So it looks like our nmap scan definitely is one of them. We see HTTP access, Python request from nmap. That's interesting. Web server root access. I'm just looking at all the things that fired in the last hour. This is the Zoom scan information disclosure. Oh, this is interesting. Output of the command ID. This does we'd like to see it clear, and then I ran export term. So as an attacker, what does this tell us? Even though we did URL encode things, we still got caught here by an intrusion detection system, which is just interesting. So maybe finding other ways to hide will really help. All right. Wait, what happened here? I see 3 people. Did it drop again? Let me check what is happening with this thing today. I apologize for all these technical things. I have no idea what's happening. It just drops. All right. So it looks like our privilege escalation linps worked. So if we do a cat privs.txt, we get a lot of noise here. I'm telling you right now, when you run linps, you need to be able to quickly decipher this information fast. You need to come up with your own methodology on how to quickly look at this. Otherwise, it's as overwhelming as it can be. The things you can look for to quickly see what's going on here. Let's see. Here are all the results. I won't bore you with this. Someone was probably having a headache. But when you look through these, the creator had put one of the users, was it Terrell? Tyrell, okay. Okay, this is just me showing you how I ended up here. But through looking these, the results from LeanPeas, which is a tool that you can use, I found interesting things. Like, oh, here is a potential password. I was like, oh, okay. But down here, in the Drupal HTML, there was a password for Tyrell. I think this one. You could have found it by looking through these things manually, or this would have shown you. So let's try to switch to that user. And we're in. All right, so since this keeps breaking, I'm just going to finish it here. Sudo -l. This time we actually have journal CTL. So let's go to GTF4 beans. In my privilege escalation, I have, actually I can just do this. GTF4 beans, and we just need to search for what we found using sudo -l. In this case, it was journal CTL. Copy that. This is the easiest privilege escalation to root, actually. So I'm always looking for exciting ones, but here's sudo. So all we need to do is just do this. Let's see if it works. I haven't done this. All right. ID root, but I cannot delete. Oh, ls cd/root. All right. Even though we got kicked out a couple of times, you saw that we managed to get root. So LeanPeas and being able to go through those results fast, very important. I think if you don't know how to go through LeanPeas fast, you spend a couple hours looking through those results. All right, now that we did that and we are done, here's the little bit of the autopsy of the work that we have done. Let's look at our alerts here. I'm just going to do the default one. So if you're in Security Onion, this is how you can use the alerts. You can use them from here, where you get all of them at once, where you can see everything that happened. The good thing for us is they all happened in the same time period. So as the defenders, we can actually know that an active attack was happening here. And you can see the same IP address for Kali Linux going to the victim machine happening over and over and over again. And the port numbers showing here. Most of this is brute forcing, which we did. Let's put this 500. So you can see all the alerts here. If you like to see them classified in a nicer to see way, I encourage you to use Kibana. Also because I'm biased, I like Kibana better. In this case, I was looking at the web application attack. Let's see. So far, we have 319 in the last 24 hours. This is all the attack for just this machine. if you are installing this security onion, make sure that you have an SSD. This machine doesn't, so it's a little slow. This will classify all your attacks and give you interesting data. If you click on the alert here, it will take you to the alerts section where you can actually see the alerts classified as well. As a defender, you're looking for successful command injection, because those ones are the nasty ones. Scans, yes, they can scan, but if they succeeded in doing anything, then that would be bad. This RDP connection here, if this was a Windows machine, that would be concerning, but I was actually going to a Windows machine. So I'll quickly go through some of these again, and so you can see what we have. There's a lot of really interesting alerts that really triggered here. What was this one? There's a lot of really fun alerts that triggered. Another way that will be easier for you is to just maybe escalate these alerts so that they can show up in the security analyst interface, which is the Hive. So to do that, say if you saw an alert that you liked, you say you wanted someone to look at this further, you can click on this. You should say escalate, and I'll show you where they show up. So this is where Security Onion really shines. I only want to escalate a few, not all of them. So that's all. Let's escalate this one. Let me know if there's one that you would like to escalate as well. Oh, this one is very, very interesting. Let's escalate that. All right, then let's go to our security analyst interface here. So this is the email address for the security analyst. You can send an email to that. I actually check it. Security analyst has to sign. And all those alerts that we just escalated, they are now in here. So this is the first one that we'd like to see. It will show us the rule that triggered, but of course we don't have all the data here. So if you escalate this here, someone has to know, oh, I have this incident, then they can go and figure out, okay, which one was this that ran. When you interact with this, the other way that you can do it is, then if you find any evidence, you can put it in the observables here. If you go to add observables, you can classify this and say, well, I found a file, or I found an IP address of interest. In this case, our IP was 192.168.38.63. Maybe that's a tag. Then you can label this then create that. This way, people will know, oh, there is an IP address that is really of interest here. Because at the end of the day, when you're doing these investigations, you want to make sure that you document as much as possible. Just in case you don't finish your investigation, someone needs to be able to come and finish from where you started as well. So you can also add URLs and other things here. I just wanted to show you that you can escalate your events from Security Onion directly to the Hive. That way you can have an event management where the whole team can react to them. And if you are the team lead, you probably want to see that as well. All right, and here is that same command process that we did. But here's the interesting one. We actually ran, if you were doing this as a security analyst, you would have struck gold here, because this is telling you in plain text that, hey, the attacker was able to get in. Once they got into the system, they ran the command ID, they tried to clear the screen because this attacker likes to clear the screen for whatever reason. Then they tried to fix it because they really like to clear their screen by using Xterm. Now they were able to clear the screen. Then they ran ls. This attacker likes to clear the screen. Then after that, how far did we go? We cleared the screen again and ls. Or then we went to OPT. Then they actually read the creds file that we had stored. So you know, oh, they did steal the user password for this person here. And they ran the IP to figure out what IP address they were on. So this way you are actually, you can tell your team with confidence that we have been compromised. They were here. Another place in their Hive here is the hunt interface. Here we can request pickup, which I really like. So you can hunt for events here, but right away you can see that we have port 4242. We know anything on 2 about 4242 because that's what we use to get our reverse shell. Again, we should be able to see that it did work. Same information here. But if you wanted more information, I think you can request pickup from here. I used to be able to. Okay, we can escalate it from here as well. From within the alerts, I think that's where we can request pickup. Last time I was able to request pickup from there. Let's see if I can drill down into this one. Okay, so I just installed this installation of pickup. I need to figure out where they moved the install request pickup option from, because I don't see it from there. What if I wanted to say plus? Okay. So if you knew what you're looking for, you can request pickup here using this information. All right. So I think that was it for us. That was really fun. I enjoyed these things. I will try to figure out what was happening there. No one was watching Netflix, really. I'm not sure why that was happening. I'll look at my network logs and figure out why that was happening. But for now, I'll take any questions if anyone has any questions. And if you haven't, please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to this channel. This is really fun stuff. I haven't seen other people on YouTube doing it, mostly because I think, as you can see, there's chances for technical difficulties happening and people just don't want to deal with that. I just happen to want to make a fool of myself in front of you guys because I can. I'm working on my studio. As you can see, I now have a flame. If the flame is going, that means learning is happening. We'll always be learning over here, and I also have my lab over here, which nowadays I'm running Security Onion on a Dell server, no longer a virtual machine. Yeah, I think so too. I'm running it on a Security Onion on a Dell server. I was trying to see comparison between a virtualized instance of Security Onion or on a physical server. I haven't seen any difference. I'm going to reclaim my server back and put it back on, run the one on the virtual server because it doesn't help wasting a whole server on it. Thanks, BT. I hope you can also set up your own lab. It's super simple to set up, actually. Minimal resource. I was thinking of making a video just showing you how simple it is to install Security Onion on an old MacBook Pro that's no longer working. Yeah, the other part that I found on Security Onion is this OS query here, which is really cool. I also am going to add the Wazoo agents this time, so we can actually monitor the agents as well. But it will be too much information to look through in an hour, so maybe we'll see. We'll probably alternate between network data and host-based data. The grid will show you how many Security Onion agents. This one is installed in standalone mode. I'll probably add a few in a grid so I can actually see a bunch of them, because that would be really cool. Cyber Chef, kind of cool. Then we have the navigator. Yeah, we'll probably do that. All right, so thank you very much. I don't know what the video looks like or whether we will have one video or multiple, but thank you very much for joining. If you like this, join again next Sunday. I'm actually about to take the OSCP very soon here, and I'm very excited for that. And I'll probably be giving you guys more information about the OSCP once I take it, but I am ready. I've gone through a lot of material, and right now I'm just ready to take it. So thanks for being here. I'll definitely see you guys next Sunday. Have a good one.